Good evening, Bill Carroll, Zenny62 Media, and, well, briefly, congratulations to Kamala Harris, who will be the first graduate in HBCU, first woman graduate in HBCU to run for president, joining Jesse Jackson, who ran previously, and the first AKA to run for president of the United States. Or let me put it this way, to be the primary candidate of a major party. I'll put it that way. But to what I came here to talk about, which is football. And there's a couple of prospects, one of whom, I don't know how he was not a higher rated prospect coming out of high school, was a finalist for Texas Mr. Football. Texas, right? Had a 20 sack season in high school playing from the interior, right, as a defensive tackle. Originally committed to Louisiana Monroe, then switched his commitment to Stephen F. Austin after having a monster collegiate career, high school career that once again, for some reason, still ended up being a 3-star for reasons I don't get. Played sparingly as a freshman in the 2021-2022 season and had a sack despite playing very sparingly, had 2 tackles in his brief playing time. Played in only parts of, I think, 3 games. No, 1 game. Played in part of only 1 game and managed to be that productive. Then the next year, plays in all 11 games as a redshirt freshman, 16 solo tackles, 9 tackles for loss, 40 total tackles, 1.5 sacks, and a pass breakup. Next year, which was last season, monster. In 11 games at Stephen F. Austin, he had 52 total tackles from the interior, including 7.5 tackles for loss, had 2 sacks and blocked a kick, was an all-conference player, and made some All-American teams. We had several All-American teams, including, I think, College Football Network's, I think, 3rd team. But, excuse me, but no matter what, when you look at his body of work, right, what he's done and how he's done it in his career, you're seeing a big, powerful athlete who moves extremely well for his size. And once again, as I've said before, there's no such thing as a FCS player who's a lock to be drafted. But if he tests well, has another year like last year, maybe even better year than last year, this is a big-bodied guy. If he tests well, I could see him being a guy who's drafted day 3. And, you know, in his past couple of seasons, he had 16.5 total tackles for loss, 3.5 sacks, and had a really high, 5th highest run stopping grade amongst all interior defensive players at the FCS level. He's legitimately about 336 or so pounds, probably about 6'1 3/4, and like I said, moves well. Think about a more fit, a health. If Gilbert Brown had, really attacked the gym, that's who whatever Bobino reminds me of. The other player I want to talk about, and once again, Ed Bobino the second, third. No, I was right, the second, to be exact. That's a player that I believe is worth watching. If you pay any attention at all to FCS football, I highly recommend you watch him. And I think, regardless of level of competition, he's one of the top 15, 16 defensive tackles in all of college football. There are not, I don't think, 20 better defensive tackle prospects. And once again, physical testing we'll see a lot about where he ends up going if he's drafted. The next player I want to talk about, and another terrific player, is TJ Chukwurah, kid from Seguin High School in Arlington, Texas, where he competed in not just football, but powerlifting and track, and which argues to what kind of athlete we're talking about. We're talking a powerful, explosive, fast athlete, guy who competed in the 4x100, 4x200, 4x4, and the 400 meters. Tells you about some toughness and pain management, soreness management too, because he's running, a bunch of relays and on top of the 4x4. Also messed around with the triple jump, long jump. Not much of a long jumper. Got off a 40-foot plus triple jump, but clearly the 400 and the relays were his best events, and frankly underutilized. Now I think that'll change this year. Last year, just 33 receptions for 783 yards and 8 touchdowns. For those who don't like to do math, that's 23.73 yards every time he catches the football. A true deep threat. And I think frankly, there should be an uptick in his production. Redshirted last year, and then was, like I said, at Juan Seguin High School prior to that. And now he's going into a redshirt sophomore season. If he breaks out big time, he probably redshirt junior season. And if he breaks out big time, is it possible he ends up coming out early? I mean, it's unlikely, obviously, but he certainly has credentials, right? He has a lot of things you look at physically. The credentials are there. Had a really good year last year, and I think has a chance to be even bigger year this year. Now, he is at Black Hill State. That's a good conference, right? I've talked about the RMAC before. All those various Mines School and CSU Pueblo. Sort of roughly analogous to the Big Sky Country at the FCS level. They're a top, usually 3-ish D2 conference. He'll need to have a monster year, obviously. I don't think he'll come out early, but if he has a monster year, a true breakout season, at least he positions himself for the following season after that to be on scouts' radar. On my radar already, he's sort of like Eddie Royal, if you want to sort of imagine what he's like strong, not very big, but really powerfully built for his size, can run through tackles. Listed at 190, I think he might be even a couple pounds heavier. Listed at 5'11", probably more like 5'10" and 5'8". But that's fine. But he's made for today's spread offenses. Like I said, quick, powerful, and should get even more touches this year. Bill Carroll for Zenny62 Media. That is the 2 players I'm discussing today. I will have 2 more for you tomorrow. Let me know how I'm doing. If there's a player you want to see me highlight and you haven't heard them mentioned yet, let me know. I may still get to them, but I might push them up my order if you tell me there's somebody you want to see. And once again, I will see you again tomorrow.